print all these analysis we have at our disposal. And what for me, my takeaway is that the influence of the social media that our own leaders back home want to start to censor. It actually had a lot of, and it's still having right now, a lot of influence on the electoral process and the election results back then in the US. So look, I just give example of what they use TikTok to do, to get the president to believe that he has huge number of persons that's coming up to show up for rallies, and they still use the same platform to ensure that those that registered would not show up for the same rally. So he ended up having, a whole lot of empty seats. That is the power of the social media that we have at our hand. Today, of course, we see in the news back home, President Muhammadu Buhari and its cabinet, they now hold the fake sessions via video conferencing, such as Zoom, as we are having now. So it then the same thing they want to censor is the instrument that we are currently used to run the government. That means that it cannot be censored in the real sense of it. They can't. I don't know what they mean by the definition of censor. We are waiting to hear their interpretation and the definition of what they call censor. I'll give an example. You want to censor the social media. Have you been able to censor the Biafran radio that's been broadcasting for how many years now? Free for all, free to air. For me, I think that's where this movement should even move towards. The vision should be that we're going to have our own platform where we can communicate the right values, the right, sense into our people, where, we'll break it down and, using all the suggestions that we've had on this platform. One of them was that we should be able to create a strategy, and thank God we now have our strategy committee. We have people joining those committees via the link. We should be able to create a strategy where we'll be able to communicate to people all over Nigeria, the 774 local governments, in their local language, such that we will not have a situation where if we have to protest for a right cause because we didn't communicate to the critical stakeholders in a language that they will understand, we'll now have a situation where they will come and they will disrupt a cause that we are fighting for that would have benefited all of us, including they themselves. But if these guys understand what we are pressing for in terms of a better Nigeria, in terms of a better society for all, in terms of ending police brutality, in terms of even getting a better life for the police themselves, we will not have a situation where those that joined to disrupt the protest would have done that. So, with the power of the social media at our hand, with the power of all these tools, all these apps in our hand, we should be able to disseminate information. For me, that's what the social media has come to do. And I think that is what has increased the kind of participation that we saw recorded in the US, charting a record that has been existing since 1903. For the first time in the history of the US election, the two candidates are recording over 70 million votes each. Can you just imagine? The figure it's heart-rending. 70 million whooping votes. Let's
Sorry
go
to
and
cut you
check.
short.
Okay, Ozioma, you have your
Sorry to
time.
cut you short.
Ozioma, you have your time. Ozioma, hold on. You have your time. I'm saying that figure, 70 million. 70 million times 2, that's 140 million, meaning the whole of Nigeria went to vote. That's what it means. A population that is as much as the whole of Nigeria went to the ballot. If it can be done in the US, I believe we can do it here. And the reality is, our government back here can do it. And they usually do it every 4 years, no matter the ethnic crisis, no matter the religious crisis, no matter the situation of each of the 774 local government in Nigeria, we will ensure that the ballot gets to those locations. 2015 was an example. After 2015, even APC, the sitting government, was campaigning that some local government was under the control of Boko Haram. But when it was time for election, the military was deployed. We won back all those local governments. And we casted ballots in those locations. Even when they are not in those local government where people are not residing, we took ballots to the IDP camps of those locations. We casted ballots. It then means that the government has done, as far as I'm concerned, the government has done its part. Then we, the people, should do our part by going to cast our votes. But you know what? They usually deceive us. They deceive us and we deceive ourselves by believing our vote does not count. Leave it for the politicians. It has been decided. But the reality is that it has not been decided. If it has been decided, why are politicians usually willing to buy our votes? If it has been decided, why is it that both APC and PDP will come cash in hand to buy those votes? If those votes are not important to them, if those votes, we usually say it has been rigged, they will just announce numbers. If that really is the case, why is it that they will still be ready to come cash in hand to pay you for each ballot, 4,000 naira each, 5,000 naira each at the polling units? It then means that the ballot really counts. And we must, as Nigerians, as Nigerian youths, we must, be awakened to know that truly there's a power in the ballot. So this evening, our conversation would be around what lesson can we learn as Nigerian youth from the US 2020 ongoing elections. That's what the conversation is about this evening. Dr. Anthony, I see you. You're welcome. Dr. David, I also see you. Dr. David Onobanjo, you are welcome. Teg Ogungwe, you are welcome. Engineer Iheme, you are welcome. Tolope, can you please help usher in those that want to contribute to this line? What lessons can we learn as Nigerian youth on the ongoing 2020 from the ongoing 2020 election of the United States of America?
Okay, thank you very much, Ahmed. I believe we can see me. Apologies about the lighting situation and all. So, to add more to what you rightly said, Ahmed, there are some very triggering points about the recent, or rather, the ongoing US election, about youth involvement. And these are what I want our conversations to be around this evening. And it's so interesting because it concerns us. And I want us to know that there are several triggering points to what brought about youth participation. Ahmed rightly said that for each of these voters, about 70 million, from statistics, it was seen that over about 150 million people registered, one, and then two, 65% of these eligible voters are youth. And it has never in US been recorded, it has never been recorded as such before, that youth will largely participate in this election. I saw somewhere, I've forgotten the name of the girl, Derek or something. There's some record of some youths that resigned basically, some withdrew from school to join Kamala Harris for the campaign because of social issues, just like we have in Nigeria. What were the triggering points for these youth? They felt that our generation, the Gen Z generation, the millennials, by insensitivity of the political class, have done what? Made them press pause. And what is pressing pause? Pressing pause to family planning. Some have to go back to their parents for money. I'm not even going to dwell on other means of or other means with which Nigeria make money today. Some of them, they press pause because they've witnessed recession, they've witnessed economic challenges. We know what is happening in US today. They've witnessed lots of loss of job. They've witnessed restaurants and bars that are closed down. A large number of the employees in these places are youth. There's the social injustice, there's the racial injustice, there's the gun violence, there's the Black Lives Matters, several social issues. Just like for me, it feels like it's a lesson, a big lesson for us, so that we might take directives, we might take, like to have a precedent. This is knowing exactly just about almost the same issues that we're facing in Nigeria is what they are facing. Police violence, which is the NSAS, what brought about NSAS, and the passion that we all have about bad governance in Nigeria today. Exactly the same issue. So what can we learn about what this youth did? 65% participation in 2020. As far back as 2018, I noticed that about that they call that the midterm election. The number of youths that registered is mind-blowing. And I believe that we can do that as Nigerians. Thank you. And I believe that one or two things that all of us are probably, picked up from any of these things, from what we've seen on TV, from what we've read on social media, the social media usage, even it's alarming. The way they did something they call campus voters and all of that. It's really, really mind-blowing. So I believe that there are several lessons we can pick up from this, and I will encourage that we say one or two things that we may have seen ourselves and we think that we should incorporate as youth here in Nigeria. Anyone?
Okay,
Okay.
So we're let's introduce the normal way we do it. If you want to contribute to this, kindly indicate by a raise of hand or ask to be unmuted in the chat section of the Zoom. We have over 200 viewers currently on Facebook. We have over 200 viewers currently on Facebook. Those viewers on Facebook, if you want to join the conversation, you can come in on the Zoom link. I've posted that in the chat session of the Facebook Live. So you come in on the Zoom link in the chat session, you can indicate that you want to speak so that you'll be unmuted. So I'll take Ozioma first, while if there's any other person that indicates, I would take after having Ozioma join the conversation. So Ozioma, you can unmute yourself.
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Uziom. Actually, I don't really have much to say, but I just want to chip in something. You know the problem, we Nigerians are the cause of our problem. Do you know why I said that? Who has ever, I don't know if you follow Big Brother. I don't know if anyone in the house follow Big Brother. Hello.
Well,
Hello?
I think I know about Big Brother. I might not follow,
Okay.
but
I don't know
there's no way you'll be in the social media space that you'll not be aware of Big Brother Nigeria.
I don't know if anyone has an idea of how much like the Big Brother votes pools. Does everyone has an idea of how much?
That's
about 1 billion. About 1 billion votes.
Okay.
No,
Very
billion?
well.
No, I don't think so.
I think it was 9.3
900 and something million votes.
Million votes. You can just imagine.
900
to promote
plus.
Big Brother.
But I think you can vote twice, right? You can vote several number of times.
Okay, no, let's just remove the factor that we can vote twice or several number of times. Yeah. But I'm just using that. You can just imagine if you have 9.3 million votes. If that was channeled into election, I'm not going to have a better development, a better country. You can imagine the number of people that came out to vote in the American election, 140 million. That's the full country, just as you said. So imagine that same amount of people coming out to vote for this coming election. I don't think we Nigerians will have problem. That's what I wanted to say. I just wanted to drive a point, like compare the comparison between the Big Brother election. See how we used to channel our energy into, uh, permit me to say, something that is less important. Because to me, it's adding no value. Big Brother doesn't add any value. But we need to channel our energy towards that, undermining that we have our own countries to develop. Thank you.
Okay, that is Ozioma for you. She's emphasizing a point, and that point is the fact that back home in Nigeria, when we have the Big Brother Nigeria, we, especially with the youth, you can't tell me that those voting in the Big Brother Nigeria are those of the age bracket 40 or 50 above. It's actually the age bracket of those of us campaigning and protesting hashtag #EndSARS, where it is our age bracket that that is doing the votes, that's casting the votes for Big Brother Nigeria. So this really is the point we should address. We should speak to ourselves. We should speak to ourselves. Adegbenro, I can see your hand raised, but I think before you did that, Phoebe Sola had asked to be unmuted. So I'm going to take Phoebe Sola first, then I'll come back to Adegbenro. So Phoebe, you can unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you very much, Ahmed. It's like always, it's always a pleasure to be part of this beautiful movement. If I'm going to go straight to the question and to the deliberation of today, what have I learned from the US election? It's pretty simple. This time around, people stood up against, will I say, racism. They felt the people in power or the president is a racist, and they feel Black lives do not matter. And they know that the only way to reverse history is for them to vote in a leader who will have the empathy of the Blacks. You see, the Christian community, I'm sorry to say, they will tell you is God that has, I'm not God. I'm not God, auntie or sister. I don't live with God. So I don't know what God would have decided.
Okay, I think the signal is not.
The Trump did not allow light abortion and the rest, and also choose someone who look down on what value others. So let's I won't say let's put God aside, but this has nothing to do with God. They saw something, they saw a trail that they do not like. Hello, can you hear me? Hello.
Go ahead, loud and clear.
Hello.
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Hello.
Go ahead. The network is.
So sorry. So sorry. So I saw that the American people saw a pattern they do not like, and they rose up in their numbers. I watched a lot of interviews between Kamala Harris, Vice President Joe Biden's vice president, and a number of people. All of them were talking to her about how insincere that this present administration is, how the administration lies to them, and they feel it is not going to protect their democracy in any way. They knew there was nothing they could do to overthrow or to push out a democratically elected president. But they carried that anger to the pool. and a lot of Americans voted more than ever. So what me I've learned, and what I feel every average Nigerian too should learn, let us carry that anger to our community. On tomorrow, Saturday, I've already spoken with some group of people that we are going to, plan how we're going to the nice INEC office next week. I will be footing some of the bills myself because I want all of them to register. So what I have learned, now that INEC has opened their portal, let us, sensitize our youths. Let them carry the same passion they put into Big Brother. I will tell you, I would not in any way condemn Big Brother in any way. Diversity, variety is the spice of life. There must be times when we have entertainment. There must be time when we talk politics. So every aspect of our lives matter. So the same energy that you have put in Big Brother, come and put it now in politics, because Big Brother might not have a lasting effect on your life and the way of living, but your politics will do. The kind of leaders you put in position will do. So they do not want Donald Trump or majority or the few community who ordinarily did not vote in their last election took our time to vote this time because they wanted the narrative to change. The same way, if we want the narrative to change, we must sensitize everyone around us. Let's do whatever we have to do to get them registered. And 2023, God help us, we all head to the polls. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Phoebe. Phoebe has raised certain important points here. Yes, a lot. That, of course, that was what started this movement, because we called ourselves together that, okay, the energy in the air, the anger in the air, the air was, the environment was so charged with a lot of anger. Oh, back then it was Lekki massacre, it was Lekki genocide. So there was so much anger in the air. And just like the situation in US, we have similar situation in our country currently. The United States of America was as divided as anything. We're only talking about from the aspect of the progressives. What about, from the aspect of the progressive, of course. What about the conservatives? They also have a huge number behind them. The Republicans, the number is not so funny, it's not low. They were able to turn over 70 million votes to it. That number is staggering. For me, it's just as if APC and PDP can turn up 30 million votes each. That's the kind of things we had in the US. Go and check the figures. Check the 2019 results. President Muhammadu Buhari had 13 million, 11 point something million. The former Vice President Atiku Abubakar had over 9 point something million. We're saying the kind of attention, and a figure was given here that over 9 something million voted for Big Brother Nigeria. Just imagine if we can turn up such figure during elections. And Phoebe is saying the way we can get this is to start mobilizing for registration. The anger we have in us to end SARS, we should carry that anger, bottle it. And that speaks to some ideas that usually come on the platform that, I'll call his name, Samuel Dada, because usually after our sessions, I go back to watch the videos and I try to, internalize ideas of persons here. Usually call that if we can have 2 million people on the streets of Lagos, shut down Lagos, then we can, unseat the government of the day. My person that I've always advocated for removing the government and putting the government you want by the ballot. If we mobilize and we occupy the street and and we're able to turn up 5 million persons in Lagos, 3 million in Abuja, and we shut down, we say we want to unseat the government, then who leads us? We become leaderless. Can we check what is happening in Libya? Do we want such a situation at our hand? And we are experiencing the ripple effect of Libya here in Nigeria. The weapons in Libya is what they buy in the open market in the desert that is keeping Boko Haram running. So let's talk this evening. Let's talk around what exactly have we learned from the US election as Nigerian youth. I'm going to take Adegbenro next. So Adegbenro, you can please unmute yourself. Yes, I can see those with hands raised. I can see Oluwatosin, Jude Richard, but I'm taking Adegbenro next. So Adegbenro, you can unmute yourself and go ahead. You have the floor. Let's see your video. It makes it interesting for those on Facebook.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Yes, Adegbenro, let's see your video.
Good
evening. Okay, no problem if you can't. Go ahead.
Sorry, I can't go with video for now. But subsequently, I'll have my video on.
Okay, go ahead.
I've listened to different contributions. I must say they are good one. But I won't go ahead to start to talk about how the youths in the US and other citizens have decided to come all out to vote and make this change we're about to see. But I would focus on how we are going to relate this to our own country, Nigeria. And I think we will do well by really looking at our situation here, looking at our system. You and I would agree with me that with the present system we are running now, even if we crave for this kind of change that we're seeing in the US, I'm sorry to say, it might be very, very impossible due to the kind of system we have, due to the kind of system we're running. Because if you look at our election critically, see the way it is run, you realize that there is always this deliberate act every year to probably swing the election in favor of some people, they emphasize some section of the country. And you look at the whole thing holistically, and you agree with me that where we really have a problem is with our system. And what are we talking about when we talk about our system? We always go back to that constitution, the 1999 constitution that we're running. Because in it, we have the electoral reform that we are running. This present electoral reform, the electoral system we are running now, we might not be able to achieve more. Because first and foremost, we're talking about mail-in votes being the major sources for Biden in the US election. And our current electoral system does not even come close to anything like that. And when attempt was made for us to even consider electronic voting, you can see how own leaders don't really support all that, all because they knew it wouldn't really give it for manipulation. And also the process begins from the stage of registration. Why do we have to wait until when it is few months the election before we start to register? Because after every election, we'll have someone that is 17 years by the time we have an election. By the time we have an election, someone that is 15 years, the next election should be ready for the for the next election, immediately we finish one. So I think registration should really start immediately we finish an election. Those are the key indices we need to consider as our problem here in Nigeria.
Okay, so that's the lessons to be learned. Continuous registration is the lesson to be learned.
Hello? Hello?
Okay, Tolulope, you can go ahead.
Thank you very much, Amit. Mr. Debero, thank you very much. You've raised quite valid points, but if I may, I beg to disagree though. If I may come in, to just make some few points. You said number one, I would like to categorically say and reiterate that nothing is impossible. If you noticed, just by the implication of NSAS, several things have been done. They began to make several moves. This evening, I think I heard a report from my family saying NYC's people who don't get a job after NYC or something like that, they would be paid 40K. Then immediately after or during NSAS movement, I had something about 75 billion being earmarked for the youth. Those are responses. No matter how small they are, it's a starting point. And I want to reiterate again that we're considered over 200 million population. Do you know that over 100 of us are youths? I don't know. I really do not have the right statistics, but I've had it been said that we have about 120 million eligibility in terms of, voting age range or whatever. And one of the lessons I want to pinpoint again here is we have similar triggering issues. The issues that triggered the participation of youth in US are about similar to the issues, the social issues we have here. Even with us, much more. What are these issues? Issues we all have. The gun violence, the police issue, economic problems, everything. And what did these people do? Please do not forget, in our narrative or in the narrative and what we have seen, the participation has never occurred like this, because most of the youth, just like us, they believe that their youth, their votes do not count. Go and find out. Research has said it. That's what youth thought. Even in US, they felt participating would amount to nothing. But the same anger like Black Lives Matters, anger like the economic situation, anger like racial injustice. Do you want to talk about school debts? You really need to read about the school debts in US. Most of these
insurance
having to own a home ever again by the time they are paying back the debt. These are triggering issues. And again, the same here. We should learn, what we should ask ourselves is, what did they do? They started youth social activism. Some, if you read, some political advocacy groups, some came up with, what's that one? I mentioned the campus voting, something. They formed a youth invisible group. They did a lot. There's a record of a girl. Her name is something Fox. She withdrew out of school to join Kamala Harris, and several innumerable youth participation right now is not. I know there's the email, the mail post, whatever, online registration and all of that, which is several of these things. Yes, those are there. Those are variables. But to say our mobilizing ourselves, doing some of the things we can see these guys did, the mobilization, they even did something. I remember they expanded economic opportunities for one another. There were groups that were responsible for such things. They just got involved. Involvement is key. However tactical or strategies, long-term, short-term, whatever we're going to do, we should just do something. And that's what this thing is about. They were motivated by key issues. They were youth who said, we won't have the same narrative. No other generation had experienced what our generation is experiencing. Do we want to talk about recession? Do we want to talk about the violence? What do we want to mention? Not like they've ever, exactly the same for Nigeria. Do we want to talk about what our parents enjoyed? I remember my mom would talk about school of where you have free chicken, free everything. You know, they had people washing up clothes for them because they were in school. We didn't get that opportunity. These were the same narrative. Go get out and get to see the youth there. They were the same narrative. They didn't enjoy so much like their old aged parents did. And that should be our own triggering issue. There should be the reasons that take us out there on the street, mobilizing people. Take us out there, telling people why you need to go out, why your vote matters. It is not inconsequential. And these are the things we should tell ourselves. And these are the reasons why we should strategize. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much, Tolu. Tolu is on fire tonight, and that is the kind of fire that should be burning within all of us. Because the reality is, she mentioned certain lines that triggered certain things in me. Now, I could remember back in school, University of Benin, I attended. They used to say the first riot we had in Uniben was because food chicken that they used to give to students in the 70s was turned to half. Our lecturers usually tell us that. That place where they ate chicken in the 70s and in the early 80s, by the time we went to school by the early 2000s, had become classroom, where you have 3,000 students, 2,000 students taking general study courses. So really that fire should also be in us. That anger should also be in us. But we are saying this anger, we are going to conserve it. We are going to bottle it. We are going to structure it. We are going to put it into the electoral process. We are going to wake everybody up that it is possible. The Democrats want bidding in office. The Democrats feel the system, the entire America citizens feel it should be bidding for them. They didn't go by just protests. They did several protests for issues that occur, but they took it to the vote. The issues were the protest was not about that the government should step down. I usually find it. I don't find it interesting. I don't find it funny when I hear those lines. The government of the day should step down. No, we should take it to the ballot and win it via the ballot. So I'm going to take Abdulaziz Temitope, after which I'll take Musa Lawal, then Oluwatosin. Terence, I've seen your hand, but these three that I've mentioned were persons that had raised their hand earlier. So Abdulaziz, you can unmute yourself now.
Good evening, everyone.
Yes, good evening.
Yeah, my point this now is that what I've learned from the U.S. election is that we youth in Nigeria, we are lacking behind, in the sense that whatever we are doing, maybe our forefathers are in party A, we all follow the party. We don't care whatever their manifesto is. We don't care whatever they have in mind for us. We don't care whatever they have did before us. All we know is our grandfathers are also in this party, so we follow it. We don't. The second thing is that most of our youth in Nigeria here, all we are after is to hustle on our own. We don't care of what they are doing in politics. We believe those people are at the top. Once they are going, they put their children, so we don't care about them. We do whatever. In my own view, this they use some certain things to distract us.
Okay, I think it's losing its signal there because we can't hear Abdulaziz. Okay, so I'm going to mute Abdulaziz and take Oluwatosin. Oluwatosin, you can unmute yourself. Oluwatosin, you are in a very noisy location. You are in a very noisy location. You can unmute yourself again.
Hello, hello everyone.
Okay. Yeah,
Can you
good
hear me
evening.
now? Yeah,
Yes.
good evening. I think I followed the U.S. election, and seriously, I'm amazed by the way their election was conducted, and I wish we can also emulate this. As in, we can also emulate them also, because I was surprised. I was even like trying to like ask myself, that, is this an election? Because the way they come, the way as in the election, the settings and everything, they were no, as in people were still, as people are still going to work. Though some people are still going to school. There's no curfew. As in, I wasn't like the reverse is the case in Nigeria, because whenever election is coming, whenever election is coming up, you see, military personnel would have been deployed everywhere, even though the security forces and everything.
Oluwatosin, you are in a very noisy location too. A very noisy location. You're on the street, I guess. So I'm going to take Musa Lawal before I take Terence. Musa, I've asked you to unmute yourself. Musa, you can go ahead. You have the floor. We are talking about the US election. What can Nigerian youth learn from the US 2020 elections?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Talking about the US elections and what we can learn from it. Basically, we should understand that elections or politicking and governance are two sides of the same coin. It is very important for us to understand that governance is as important as politicking. In as much as we are striving for a better future, we should understand that the process of carrying out politicking and governance are just one side and the other. One thing I want to draw attention to is the energy which we used during the SARS protest. It really showed the extent of the strength of the youth. And for me, it opened my eyes to see that if we are serious as youth, there are so many things that we can do, there are so many things that we can achieve. One problem I have seen among the youth is that we lay so much focus or so much emphasis on the central government. And laying so much emphasis on the central government makes us to shy away from other levels of government. For example, the state government and the local government. I can challenge each and every one of us here that 60 to 70% of us do not know our local government channel. We do not follow the budget of how these monies are being sent from the federal to the state to the local level, and we don't know how they are being expended. So if these dividends of democracy are not getting to us, we'll be looking at the federal government, we'll be looking at the state or at the central level, not knowing that these monies have been sent, just like what happened during the palliative. We saw that, for example, food items had actually been sent to state governments and they were locked up. So my point is, it is very important as youth to delve into the process of governance, to hold each level of government accountable for whatever they receive and for whatever they are spending. For example, a particular local government could be receiving over 200 million naira monthly, and nobody is asking questions how it is being spent. Nobody is asking questions. It is also very important to understand that the youth of today have a very, very important tool at hand, which is the social media. The social media is very important. It has shown the strength. It has shown how much we can put our resources together, just like how we saw during the NSAS protest. It is very important for us to understand the powers that we have as youth, not just about the elections, not just about the politics, but also during the process of governance. We should ask at every level of government how this process is, how government is expending the money, how they are carrying out. If we don't do that, we will not keep these guys on their toes. Because, for example, a police officer now, if you stop on the road, a police officer now is looking inside the if anybody's holding a camera phone, with a switch or with a person, these guys on their toes, everybody just hide under the federal government. Politicians just hide under the federal government. For example, like what happened in 2015 elections, every Dick and Harry that just came under the central party, which was the APC at that particular point in time, irrespective of who you were, irrespective irrespective of the kind of caliber of personality that you were. They were just coming to the party to say, okay, APC is the leading party. And, we found out along the line that, we even had people that were worse than the initial status quo and were already in government. So we should try to hold these guys accountable. It's not just about the election period, it's not just about the governance process is also very important. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lawal. You really have raised some valid point. I don't want us to veer off our point about lessons we can learn or what we can, integrate from youth participation in the ongoing US elections. You've raised valid points about ongoing process of governance, then you did mention that we don't even know about 60% of our local government chairmen. And this is why we're developing strategies. This is why we're calling for mobilization. Mobilization in getting to know what governance is all about, informing ourselves. Thank you very much, Mr. Lawal. At that point, I would like to bring in Mr. Terence. Mr. Terence Benjamin, are you there? Hello, Mr. Terence. You did raise your hand. Please, you can speak.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I want to say a very big thank you for this opportunity. I'm really inspired and I am motivated and elated that we are discussing this. This is the first time I'm joining the meeting, and I've been so happy with what I'm hearing. I want to especially thank Mr. Musa. He actually suggested, he made some valid comments that I think we can also look at. Yes, we've learned so much from the US election, which means it's an opportunity for we to also reawaken every single part of the country, not just the youths alone, but the youth. We have the power to make our parents and our brothers do whatever we want. If we want to vote a particular party, our parents will want to vote same party. So from what Musa Lawal said earlier on, I think it's best we start by sensitizing the people in the rural area. We need to start political education at the rural level. How do we do this? By looking into holding the local government chairman accountable. What are they using the resources for? They get funding from the state government every month. What are they using it for? Go to various local government, nothing is happening. More especially my local government. I plan that next year, I'm going to take press, I'm going to mobilize youth from my local government, from my constituency. We're going to hit these guys so hard. They need to tell us what they do with these monies. The House of Rep representing my constituency need to explain to the youth in my constituency what they do with these funds. So by the time we use the power of social media, we project every local government, every constituency while the questioning is going on. The whole world is seeing what is happening. I think that will even go a long way in helping the youths at the rural level to wake up. It will help a lot of people in various areas. If I start in my own local government, in my own constituency, and it's been beamed live on social media, on all social platforms, every other local government in Nigeria will wake up, and this will get to the grassroots. Politics is grassroots, and we must make sure we take the people at the grassroots alongside. Tolulok, when you said something about getting the youths involved, building a platform whereby we can have a lot of youths empowered. You see, most of the problem why the youth are demotivated is because of the high rate of unemployment. We have high rate of unemployment. A lot of youth are not doing anything. A lot of them are passing out of school every year and no jobs for them. So maybe first we need to begin to think about how do we create solutions? How do we come up with probably digital tech solutions that will create at least some thousands of jobs digitally? At least we know we are building circle of soldiers who will actually infiltrate into the political system, because the youth need to be mentally ready to take over political office. for me, I think American election has really opened the eyes of Nigerian youth, to most of them who are on social media. But what about those who are not on social media, who are not even informed about the American election? And here we have large number of them. Those youths who have their PVCs that are Agberus, they are not watching CNN. They are not watching most of these things. They don't even know what is going on. So I feel like we need to come up with strategies on how to reach these people at the grassroots, provide solution for them, let them have a means of daily livelihood. Then they will have power to decide what they want to do with their life and how they want to make impact in their generation. For me, let's start creating opportunities on how we can reach out to the youths around us, our environment. What solution are we providing? The change cannot begin from the way we are thinking. Yeah, we can start up campaigns for people to start getting their PVC. Yes, it's a good idea, but we need to create a buzz from the local level, from the grassroots. What is this buzz? We can start holding the local government chairman accountable. We can start holding the House of Rep accountable. We can start holding the senators accountable. From the grassroots here, every other person wakes up. The awareness is there. During the election, we're no longer going to be talking about only ending police brutality, but we're talking about accountability, holding these guys to their balls. Then, if you can't explain to us on the first visit what you've been doing with our money, you can't give us proper breakdown of what you have achieved so far, then it shows you're incompetent. Then we begin to realize that, oh, this is actually where we are. The youths at the grassroots receive, oh, really? This is what these people are doing to us in their language, in their various location and ethnic groups. So when they know this, when the people at the grassroots know this, forget about the rest. There's no much work to do, because they will be ready to defend their vote and to ensure that this man that is not accountable leaves that seat. So I feel maybe in the midst of trying to do this, we should also start from the grassroots with the local government chairman, with the reps, from our various constituencies. We just started. Let there be a force on the social media. If a particular local government is doing this protest or going to visit the chairman for accountability, the press should go with them. Let the whole world see the response of the chairman. Let them give us the total breakdown of how they spend our money, because this is our money. We trust them to put them there. So we need to hold them accountable.
Thank you.
They are there to serve us.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I feel so bad. I feel we need to start doing something. We need to start doing less of the talk. Let's start working towards these things. Let's start putting actions to these things. Let's start making them happen. I don't want to say so much because I'm really so pained. I know some few of these guys, they come up in my community, they just come, they buy probably 3 bicycles. The guy in House of Rep, he will buy bicycles, he will buy Okada and give some few people. He has done his constituency job. You will not see him again in the community for the next maybe 2 years. Maybe during election, he will start coming back to buy rice to share around. Is that why we called you? Is that why we put you there?
Thank you very much.
So we need to begin to make this change. We need to start taking actions. We need to start talking less and start taking serious actions. The power lies within us, and we need to make this change happen now. We're not going to lie low and let these fools keep fooling us. We've woken up. We've woken up, and we've got to fix it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Terence. I want to really appreciate you and Mr. Lawal. You've really made really valid points, especially about projecting actions in local government, and the fact that most of us are not even aware of our local government chairman and the of governance and the likes. These are some of the things we need to do to sensitize ourselves. So at this point, I would like Mr. Jude Richard. You did raise your hand, and Mr. Oluwatosin, you're back. That's fantastic. So after Mr. Jude Richard, Mr. Oluwatosin, without me calling you, please, you would speak immediately after Mr. Jude. Mr. Jude, are you there?
Yes, hello, good evening. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Mr. Ajit. Let's see your video. It will be nice for people following on Facebook. We have over 200 of them to see
Yeah,
you.
but, I'm sorry, my video. I'm actually in the office, so I quickly took time to.
Okay, go ahead.
The truth is, a lot of things have been learned from the U.S. election, but I want us to also realize that there is a bit different from the US and Nigeria as a country. Now, the reason why I said that is because when you look at the US, they are aware, the youth are aware, they are educated in terms of elections, electoral, whatever you have it, they are quite educated. And you look at their literacy level is high, unlike Nigeria. Nigeria, we might have the 120 million youth, but how many really are educated? How many really can even write their names? This might not be an argument, but it goes a long way, because you see, when you talk about election, it's one thing to just say, okay, we want to, it's another thing that someone has his PVC, goes to the polling booth, and even know what to do with it. And this is where the politicians capitalize more on. Okay, you might even see somebody who would go and you see two logos that looks alike, and they don't even know the difference. And just because it's okay, when you get there, stamp umbrella, and they see another logo that looks like umbrella. So we need the grassroots education, educating our people on the grassroots level. Then another thing I want to ask in form of contribution: what will it take for all the youth in Nigeria to bring out one person trustworthy to say, okay, this is the person we want to give the mandate. And if we give you that mandate, after 4 years, you mess up, we put you there, we take you out. Now, we, the youth, are now the godfather, not one single man acting as a godfather, because you cannot talk about Nigerian politics without talking about godfatherism. And that is one thing that have destroyed the political system of Nigeria. What will it take? And why not start now? Why wait till 2023? What happens if we start from the local government chairman, come up with a body registered under INEC? We do our, just like you do audition for whatever you call it, screen people, let them, screen people into this local government chairman as a youth party, for example, name it whatever you want to name it. Then we start from the elections from now till we get to the presidency. So imagine, for example, in Lagos, we're having how many local government elections, and we already have a youth body that is registered under INEC. This would give the sense that, we put you there with our PVC and we can take you out at any time if you don't deliver. And one of the things that could also happen is the fact that come up with also a constitution for this party. We know Nigerian has their own constitution, but you see, the truth is one of the problem of Nigeria is Nigerian constitution. And I don't want to deliberate on that, because we all know. I have not seen a constitution, that does not have inclusiveness. I've not seen a constitution that you are not allowed to do referendum. In advanced country, for example, I'm based in Italy, just 2 months ago, there was a referendum on one of the laws in the constitution that needs to be changed, and people voted for it, that they don't want it. And, and that is it. But our constitution does not give us that windows to do that. So what do? Let's start mobilization from now. What will it take to bring out one local government chairman, a young person, and let's vote for the person. Now, somebody might want to say finance. Trust me, we've seen what, we saw Showeri in the last election, how he raised money. I also know of a pastor in America, how he raised money through GoFundMe. Once we are serious and we are united, you see, the truth is the politicians realize that just this black NSAS, they now understand the fact that the power actually belongs to the youth. And these people can actually remove them. at any time with their PVC. But the truth is, like I said, let's go back to the grassroots, educating our people on, electoral, and how to vote and all that. Let's start from the grassroots. Come up with a body or, a party, however we want to do it. Start from the grassroots, from local government chairman to House of Rep. Let's have youth that we know that are recommendable. We've seen what they have achieved in time, and we put them there. And we also make them understand, even from the party constitution, you know what, when you mess up there, we can easily take you out. Then we start from there. Just don't wait till the presidency. We want to get the presidency. Trust me, it might be difficult, but let's start from the root.
Thank you very much. Mr. Oluwatosin, get ready. You've raised really valid points about different, the literacy level. I want to read out what lawyer Keme Kofi Romek said to everyone, and I think it's in response to your point. He or she said, I agree that our literacy level is very low, but those who are educated are not politically conscious. The level of political consciousness is very low. And I totally agree with our lawyer. Why? Because again, and I hope we understand the staggering difference between yesteryears and 2020 US election. Over 65% of these voters are youth. And some of them would even tell you that Joe Biden is not my first choice, neither is he my second choice, neither is he my third choice, neither is it my fourth choice. But what do I want? I want a new US, a US where I have opportunity, a US where my school debt will not put me behind in wealth making, just like social issues got to them. This social issue, like NSAS that got to us, we can with it end bad governance. Thank you very much. Mr. Oluwatosin, please speak.
So, as I was saying earlier, the things I learned from the US election was the way the election was conducted. I think I really love it. So, my main point is, this. I want to debate to the NSAS stuff. This NSAS, to my own knowledge, has been in existence since I think 2018. I think it got known to me through this man's page on Twitter, Sega Link or so. So the thing, I think, when the thing later got momentum when some of our celebrities start lending their voice to it. So with that, I think this we need to drive in our own ideology. So, and for us to drive in the ideology, I think we need to like bring in the celebrities also into it. As in, they have to be in this platform also, because most youth believe in this celebrity more than just an ordinary person, maybe just a normal person talking to them. So I don't know. I'm throwing this to the team, to the organizers and all this stuff. I don't know. Maybe you should try to bring in some celebrity to it. Maybe that will drive in some youth to share in this ideology with us. Because I personally have done my own part. I've shared the link on my WhatsApp group. I've shared it on my Facebook. I've even invited some of my friends. Some of them have joined, and the majority have not even joined. I think maybe they just felt, was all this for or something. But we're looking at the NSAS movement, I think most youth joined it because because of the celebrities that lend their voice to it. So I think if we can share with this idea and bring in some celebrities to this platform, maybe that could also help us to get more youth into this movement.
Thank you very much, Mr. Oluwatosin. You've raised really good points about celebrity involvement and influencers. Thank you very much. Mr. Anthony Ogigi, you're next, after which Mr. Kingsley Omobude will come up. Mr. Anthony, are you there? After Mr. Anthony would be Mr. Kingsley. Mr. Anthony, are you there? Thank you very much, Mr. Oluwatosin. Mr. Anthony. Hello, Mr. Anthony Ogigi. Are you there?
Can you
Hello?
hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, my name is Anthony Ogigi. I am from Warri, Delta State. I've written to some of the discussants. I quite appreciate their views. Now, I want
Mr. Anthony, can we see your video? Can we see your video? Because we are also, yes, because we are following up on, you don't have a picture there on your user. So if you see a video, so that those on Facebook and other live streaming can follow up. You can unmute yourself.
While Mr. Anthony is preparing, can we have Mr. Kingsley Omobude? Mr. Kingsley Omobude?
Yeah,
are you
there? Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay, please speak.
Okay. First of all, I want to thank the organizers because this is my first time of joining this meeting, and I really appreciate the way commentators have been commenting on this platform on the way forward, how the youth can get involved in the election. But I quickly want to say this. Are you hearing me, sir?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. I quickly want to say this, that concerning the American, the election that is just going on in America right now, cannot be used as a yardstick to determine the way forward for Nigeria, because I would want us to internalize, because we as a people, we know that Nigeria is, we don't have a system that is functioning. We don't have a functioning system. When you compare to America, where they have a good system that is functioning, and the average.
Mr. Kingsley, sorry to cut in. Can we have your video? Because I'm following up live on Facebook too, so that we can, put a face to it.
Yeah, but I will just do that very briefly because
okay, go ahead.
I'm in a business environment. I might be interrupted at certain time. But however, the point I'm trying to make here is that you see, like the American system is functioning. They have a functioning system compared to Nigeria. So I would want Nigeria to internalize our potentials, our strengths. We look at what we can do internally because of our situation. Like the average American, they know their left from their right. How many Nigerians know their left from their right? They don't even know their right. Most of them don't know their right. And when you come to the level of illiteracy, you observe that we have a high level of literacy, even though we know that we are doing well academically foreign, that is outside the country. Now, the point I'm trying to make here, the politicians have so much studied Nigerians, and they know how to go about the youth. So I am trying to understand, or how can we strategize on the way we can be able to make an impact in the next coming election. Why am I saying this? You all will understand that these present politicians know how to divide the youth along political lines, along religion lines, even regional. Just take the NSAS, for example. You see, it was the southern part of Nigeria that really engaged in this NSAS protest. It's not as if the NSAS protest, the police brutality was not also taking place in the north, but because their leaders have kept their people captive, and whatever they tell their people, that's what they do. So it now look as if it's a South thing. You see, I don't know if you guys heard about the meeting of the northern leaders. You see, their comment was that the NSAS protest was projected to bring down the government of the day, and of which is not. So these are some of the things they use, to kind of divide the youth. And again, we should understand one thing, that the present situation in Nigeria, even up to maybe poverty, can also affect the level of our youth getting committed to the struggle that we are now, how to change the narrative, in the country. So there's a lot of factors that is going to be kind of will be a hindrance, in this election, because the politicians out there, they know how to manipulate even the youth, because we are in a situation where everybody is struggling to survive, But we that have come up, to kind of create awareness and how to get to the grassroots, it's now left for us on how to educate and keep the awareness across all regions, so that people will get prepared for this 2023. And again, you also observe that there is this calling for restructuring. Now, what is the position of the youth? Because we are looking towards 2023 on how to change the government. Now, we will agree that there are some regions, like the southern part of Nigeria and the middle belt, if some part of middle belt, not all, that are calling for restructuring before 2023. Now, what is the position? These are the things we have to look into, and how to pass messages and create awareness and sensitize the general public, not only the youth. Everybody have to be very conscious of what is unfolding as before 2023. So these are the areas and things I would like us to also consider for 2023. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kingston. Go ahead, Stopper. Go ahead, Olulokwe.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Antonio Gigi, you were getting ready the other time. Please, you can come in, sir. Mr. Antonio Gigi. Hello, Mr. Antonio.
Can you hear me now?
No. I'm talking to Mr. Anthony. Mr. Antonio.
Yes, this is Antonio Gigi.
Okay, great.
From Warri, let us see.
Welcome.
Thank you very much for this great platform. What you can learn from the US election, you can see that there's institution at work in Nigeria without institution. So this is a struggle. If we continue like this, without an electoral reform, we'll still go to where we are. I think we want for us to push for electoral reform so that our vote can count. Part of the reason today why this movement is here today, because we don't have the singular leadership. Nobody can say we are the one that convey the youth to embark on this very journey. And nobody can say we want to come and buy out that person and settle in the cause confusion among the youth. So we should continue in that direction. My advice now is that we should not just rush to go and register a political party. Let's have our plans, long-term plan and short-term plan. Now, what are the long-term plans? The long-term plan is that we should have a political party in the future. It may not be this election. What stops us from saying, let's gather all the under one body, you can call it a body, not a political party, and look at those parties that are coming out with candidates, look at their manifesto, engage them, bring them on, tell us what plan do you have for Nigeria as a country? What plan do you have for the youth? Tell us ABCD. Then if we want to see that those people have a plan, we will tell them, okay, once you get on board, these are the youth that we want to work with. Talk about tell us more that you are bringing youth from your family or for your political cronies that you want to work with. No, we will select mayor for that party, give to you. These are people you are working with. If especially we are happy to those offices. That's number one. Then number two again, Nigeria has so many problems, like I said earlier on. So we should look for a way to bring a lot of those issues to the government. All employment is there, no infrastructure, no roads, no electricity, no water. let's look for ways we can use to track the attention of government. Why was making plans to also go to that very place? Really, it's not about it's not because of course father without have it in the system. That's why we have so many youths there. But when they go there, the system corrupts them. The system corrupts them. So we should look for a way where we can form our own alliance. If we are as a youth, meet with those political parties that have candidate already. Let's look at our manifesto, what they can do to do. They can't do it. We look for another way. Then once we agree with a political party, we will work with that political party. Ensure that we deliver there. And once we deliver there, for that we agree with them before the election, we ensure that they do it for us once they come into office. And our agenda should be very clear. It shouldn't be a big, it should be very clear of what we want. That's my own contribution for now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Antonio Gigi. We appreciate you deeply. Thank you very much. Mr. Dynamic, I know you raised your hand for a while. After Mr. Dynamic Epenity would be Dr. Babatokwe Oluwakorede. Mr. Dynamic, please. Thank you, Mr. Ogigi.
Hello.
Hi, Mr. Dynamic. You can please go ahead and speak.
Okay, I want to thank you first for creating this platform and for allowing us to share our view platform. Now, I want to start. We all know mess at the moment, and comparing the U.S. election with Nigeria is a very, very big gap. But nevertheless, the U.S. election went well, and the people had their voice. But now, back to Nigeria. I think Nigeria needs not really something difficult, but we need to start rebuilding from where we are now, not destroying causing harm, but the most important is for us to start building. Now, creating a new country or renaming will be a very difficult thing. It will be out of the previous structure, the foundations, make the people understand, put it in the most what it means. These people are meant to serve you like God. Open their understand. The problem is that the lower class in Nigeria, their mindset is very down. Their mindset is very down. Their mindset needs to be awakened, make them understand. Now, if the people understand what their responsibility is, that they need to hold our leaders accountable, there will be a change. The change will start from the grassroots, according to the previous guy, the grassroots. Now, he said he's going to hold his local government, he's going to do a conference and call the local government and ask them questions. What are you doing with this fund? What are you doing with this money the people are giving to you? And this thing will continue. Now, if you start from the local government, you see how you've won, you improve. Now it goes to the state, to the House of Rep, like it continues like this. You understand? So our mindset needs to be changed. The mindset of the Nigerian locals need to change. And I believe that's just the foundation. That is what we change everything. Yeah. Hello, you hearing me?
Yeah, clearly. Thank you very much, Mr. Dynamic.
Yeah, and one more thing. When I was growing up, I used to hear a lot of people say this comment: this is government job, you don't have to carry it on your head. So people grow up with this mindset. They don't get serious when they get to do with things of the government or things that has to
Mr. Dynamic, you're muted. Thank you very much. You're muted. We can barely hear you. I think you've muted yourself. Thank you very much. Because of time, I'm going to take Dr. Fakorede as well. Dr. Lua Korede, forgive me.
Yeah, good evening all.
Good evening.
Thank you for the audience. Well, I would like to say first, I actually learned a lot of things from the United States of America election. One of the things that is learned from that election is that one, there is nothing that is impossible.
Yes.
Then two,
Valid.
a lot without limitation. You can overcome any limitation. Then number three, structure. Structure is actually very important in the election. I believe that in the past few days, we've been talking about whether we should form a political party, whether we should do this or do that. You can imagine if some people doesn't want the present government in power any longer. If they are going to form a political party, it will have been difficult for them to actually be able to make the kind of change the way they want it at the time they want it. So that means change can be achieved if you have a good structure. And this good structure is not actually you can build in 2 days or you can build in a year. You know, most of the politicians, you will hear that they will tell you that the politician wants to decamp. And by the time the politician is decamping, he can move with 10,000 of his followers. That means for that politician to decamp, that means he has a lot of followers. That is the structure. And the people that are welcoming them also know that if this person comes to our party, he has a good, reasonable number of followers, which they will now want the person at all costs. For us to actually make a very good impact, the first step we need to do is to build a very good structure. Then another lesson learned, and that we need that the country need to improve on, is our electoral reform. The present electoral reform that we have now, it's too faulty. It's too faulty in the sense that the way our present electoral system is and everything, somebody can sit there in one place and write the result and nothing will happen, nobody will hold anything. You can do election, somebody can shoot gun 2-3 times, and by the time before you do anything, everybody will run away, they carry the ballot box and change it, and that's the end of the election. So that is one thing that also help in US. They have a system that is working, and the Electoral Act and the electoral reform there is actually very perfect. That is why they can bring about the change that they actually want. So coming back to us here, I actually talk about structure. And in the past few weeks and everything, one of the things that we've been talking about is the structure and everything. Just like the other persons had said earlier, building a structure, you have to start from the grassroots. It is easy for the Democrats to go as far as they are going now because they have penetrated the grassroots and they've been able to do a lot of things, and everybody is rooting from them, from the grassroots to the beyond. So if we are to make any impact in this present system, the first thing we have to do is to first of all build a structure. Then the second thing we need to do is to look for a way to purge our system. What do I mean by purging our system? Purging our system in a literary term, you know, when you want to purge your system, some people take some drugs or take some things, some people do enema, and they actually put water in their whatever, they say they want to purge their system, they want to clean their system. We have to purge our system in the sense that the present system that we have is actually very faulty. And for us to be able to key in and make a very great impact, we have to look for a way to actually know how to change the present system, both from the electoral act to the restructuring of the country and every other thing that we need to change. So by going forward, I would say that while we are building our structure, we should also engage the government in changing of policies. I don't see the reason why we can't do electronic votes in Nigeria. I don't see why we cannot just like the way we use our ATM and collect money, why we cannot just go somewhere and just put our voter's card and vote and everybody go. And as the vote is counting, everybody is watching it as it's dropping in, and you know who is leading, who is losing, and all those things. All these things are very possible. So I believe that those are the kind of things that we also need to work on. Because if we actually go by the present system that we have, no matter how much we educate the youth, even if no matter how much we educate the youth, we cannot get the 100% of the youth. All we need is just the majority. And no matter how much we educate them, you will still have some people that have sworn to be part of those politicians, and they will always do their dirty bits for them. So whatever we are going to do and however we are going to do, we first of all need to look for a way to see how we can purge the system, change a lot of things with the system. Then while we are doing that, then we are building structures. We start building our structures from each ward, not just the local government now. We start building structure from each ward. From ward, we take it to the local government level. From local government level, then we now take it higher and higher. Just like the other person said, we can look for people that are well tested and well trusted, and we start rooting for them in their local government. And people that have interest in politics, for some of us, we don't really have any interest in politics like that. But we are interested in supporting people that are actually wants to be in politics. So for those that have interest in politics, we can actually see how we can be of help to them, support them the way we can support them. Some of us have done some things in my own medical line. We've done some few things for the politician that actually boost their political career. I believe that we can actually do that one for ourselves too, to actually boost our own political career, so that we can actually see to the end of what we have in this country presently. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Lastly, for tonight, we're going to take Mr. Samuel Dada, after which we wrap up for tonight. I must say, before Mr. Samuel Dada comes up, I want to thank each and every participant tonight. I want to also thank each and every contributors to this really, really crucial topic tonight. Thank you very much for being part of this. And I'm quite sure and confident that this will yield good results. Thank you very much. Mr. Samuel Dada, you can please speak.
Oh, good evening, everyone. Nice coming together tonight. Yeah. Well, what I've learned, or maybe I should say what I've known already about when it comes to election in America or in European, especially the developed ones, where there is real democracy. I think the word I will use is community cooperation, because in America, especially in Chicago, where blacks, the area that where black lives, do you know that black kids themselves over there, whenever they call the police, when the police go there, especially the white police, they turn back. They just said cities get stitches, as in blacks. So they don't do anything about it. But the last time they killed George Floyd, you see, all the musicians, the celebrants in America, especially the blacks, because if you look at the blacks community, we don't usually cooperate. So that is why I use community cooperation. With what everybody has said so far, I think the best word to use is when anybody is saying that I'm going to my local government to speak to people, the word we need to carry along in terms of political education is the word community cooperation. Let us look at it in other ways of our living. When somebody is having kidney problem in our community, or when somebody is having thyroid problem, maybe the person is getting sick, Nina, our community is just like they say, oh, he has gotten AIDS, he's dying, God catch him, all sort of certain things. Maybe he has problem with somebody. See, we have an idea of like neglecting somebody while dying. Why the Europeans or the white people, they gather together, they contribute money. Oh, somebody has to do a dialysis, so we need to put money down. They cooperate. So the community comes together to solve issues. So for the first time in the history of America, it happens that the blacks are dying. Many things are happening to the black. Nobody is giving earrings to their yearnings for years. And then after that, the only way, after all the demonstrations and the riotings and the stealings, they found out that the best way to come is to vote. Since 1992, after the George Bush, the first time the political system of governing of any administration is changing is in this particular year. Because since 1992 up to this time, any president that comes in always go on the second time. For the first time now, the Trump something is coming to an end. If at the end of the day, Biden won the election. So that is when you see community cooperation, when everybody is involving, everybody is telling, and with the level of this popular culture now we have it. What do I mean by popular culture? That is the smartphones, the Twitter, all sorts of things they were using on social media that gives information faster than your national television station. So the same thing will happen in Nigeria. But what we need to take from this thing is this community cooperation, where we will tell our people within ourselves that if anybody has problem, we should come to their heads. We should come to the heads of one another. By so doing, we educate ourselves. But one thing that has, that has been happening in our environment, it is this attitude of I know person pass person. I know somebody pass you. So I'm less concerned if somebody is dying or if something is happening. Like most of the councillors or in the constituency, when they're supposed to do rehabilitation of roads, some people knows that it is the duty of that councillor, but because it's their friends, they will just leave. So we just have to tell them that, you are parking car here. Everybody is going on this road. You buy car. You have shock absorber problem today. You have a wheel alignment problem today. You have your convergence that is, tearing apart, depreciating. By the time we give them this education, if you guys can come together and tell a councillor that a road, that an allocation that has been given for rehabilitation of roads must be spent on that road, so that all of us that riding car on this road wouldn't have problem. By the time we are giving them this attitude, we are bringing what we call community cooperation, where everybody will come together and cooperate and say, no, we can't do that. We can see in Nigeria, many mechanics on the road, they'll be pouring their engine oil where they are losing, or they are doing some works in the car. They will pour it on the road. All these things consumes the road when there is sunlight, because they are acidic, all those engine oil. These are the things we need to bring into people's head, that in this community, we need to make it clean. You see people throwing papers on the road. Let us start from there. We can organize ourselves. I said it at the last something, that we can organize 10 people in each local government. Like throwing nylons on the road is not ideal. We started bringing things together where people will have a community corporate, where people can come together and say, no, if you want to build a society, let's start from this. And somebody said something before, that we do follow our fathers when they follow a party. It is true that maybe my father is an APC member, so I have to have sympathies because I'm hidden under the canopy of my father. I can't say anything, even though I understood that their party is not doing something. These are the problems we are having. It is not here in Europe. A father will be a Democrat and a son will be a Republican, because they will have respect for each other. It's an ideology. So for us to have this kind of
valid points.
So for us to have this ideology, I think we need to come together and understand that what are the ways to find solution to all these things. Everybody has enumerated problems, but I think what we need most is community cooperation, which the United States, especially the black race in the United States, for the first time came together. Look at just about 2 hours after when they start the election, they got about 1 million people has voted. It has never happened. It was a great influence in the history of America. 2 hours. They started polling something. Millions of people has voted. That's because they raised the consciousness, because people understand that their problem will not be solved if they refuse to vote the right people in power. And the history of America, we have a large number of Africans in their parliament, in their Congress for the first time. That shows that they understand.
A lot of Nigerians, even Nigerians indeed. We've seen more than 3 Nigerians.
That shows they really understood their problem, that their community that is depreciating, the youth are getting involved in thuggery or all sorts of things. They need to come back home and let everybody involve. So that is what we need to take back to our people in Africa, educating them in the language they understand. Somebody said that the well-educated ones are not politically conscious. I never agree with that. Though when I'm talking, I go on majority. I will tell you that majority of the well-educated Nigerians, they are politically conscious. But the only thing that is giving us problem is that Those people, they derive their sources in the lawlessness of the land. I'll give you an example. Because I used to tell people, look at Tejo market or Yaba market. Look at the people selling there. Most of them, they are illiterate. But I will tell you that a well-educated person finishes from his office, passing by to buy things, he will buy things of 10,000 naira, 20,000 naira from that market woman. I will tell you, if that person is deriving the sources from a political party or an administration in power, that well-educated person will involve that market woman by asking her, Madam, do you go to vote? Yes, I vote. Oh, okay, which party do you vote for? And that person that is buying will convince the market woman and say, no, vote for a particular party if you want me to be coming to be buying from you. And that is how the market woman will go all around the marketplace and tell them that, we have a good customer that do buy things from us. So she has told us to be voting for this particular. That is how they involve them. That is why you don't see the political people coming to them directly. And when there is an agenda, they call them, they'll be buying clothes. So they are politically conscious, only that they derive their sources in the lawlessness of the land. This I have noticed for years. And coming back to the issue of the building structure, we can build structures not by going into the politics and at this moment. How do we build structures? Look at the internet working in Nigeria. People paid exorbitant of money and they don't have internet. We can start from there. We can call people well-educated Nigerians youth that they understand the networking system and let it bring it to the people that you are paying exorbitant of money. This is how we need to do. And we do protest. Maybe we do protest under the canopy of the networking system. The exorbitant is too much. And people will see reasons to that. That is what we bring people together. That is what we create the awareness for people to come together so that they will be able to understand what do I mean by community cooperation. Let us look at how people pay for maybe on the road, the tout, stopping the Okada riders, paying money to them. They will see police paying money to them. These are the issues that pertains to the common people each day of their daily life.
And all this does not happen in the United States of America, that we are trying to learn from their election. So thank you very much.
So a lot of things I have to enumerate. Just for us not to take time, I think I will stop here for today. Thank you very much.
Yes, you're welcome, Mr. Samuel Dada. And I noticed some participants that spoke earlier are people you invited to the platform. That's all what we all need to do. Discuss with your colleagues in the office, discuss with your friends on the road, discuss with those you play soccer with in the evening, discuss with those you meet at the eatery, discuss with those you meet at relaxation point, discuss with those you meet at religious gathering. Mention the new Nigerian youth movement. That is the way in which we can continue to spread the news about this movement. You can see the kind of conversation we've had here tonight. Don't you think this is what should be going on? This is the direction in which conversations in all our social sphere. Don't you think this is what it should be? And like I promised yesterday evening, that this weekend the committees would start work effectively. I'm happy to announce to us that for those that have filled our membership forms, they received the mails just before we started this program by 7 o'clock this evening, inviting them to the various WhatsApp group that we've created for people to brainstorm further, to put details, to strategy that we're putting together. We're talking about the finance committee, the strategy and structure committee, the media and movement to government committee. A lot of us have mentioned here that we really need to engage the government. So we need persons that have background and experience in this to do this. The IT and social media committee and the membership and database committee. So for those of us that have not filled our membership application form, I would like my co-anchors to kindly paste the link to our membership application form on the chat group. Let us, see that. Let us fill the form so that we can join the movement. This movement cannot be achieved by the effort of just a few persons alone. We need a lot of volunteers. What you've seen us do ever since has been the effort of the the convener of this movement, Dr. Stephen Akitayo, and a whole lot of other guys working behind the scenes to ensure that we have this platform for us to pour out our mind. Not all of us will have the opportunity to be on the national TVs. Not all of us will have the opportunity to be to buy pages of newspaper. But the social media is a tool we have in our hand to communicate. Like I said yesterday, the internet does not forget. TMO was the one that anchored 2 days ago. She also mentioned that the history will have it that we that are on this platform today contributed our part. When our children ask us, someday in future, our children would be online, they will see that, oh, so my mother did this. Oh, it then means that they never sat down and kept quiet for Nigeria to go the way it went. Towards the end of the session, we had two people join us, and that is Adeboye Oluwasegun and Abba Malan. Abba Malan, you are welcome. We're looking at, for a lot of persons that can give us in route into getting more of our colleagues to join us all over the nation. So Abba Malan, kindly do follow our social media platform. We have a WhatsApp group, we have a Facebook group, we have a Telegram group. All this group, I'm urging that my colleague, my co-host, should kindly help post this group. I'm going to rush through a document to grab some of these links. However, I'm saying, of course, by the time you join with any of this link, I'm posting right away now. I've done that for those of us in the chat group. I'm going to do that for those of us on Facebook too. For those of us on Facebook, after the event, you can come back to check the chat, the comment section. We're going to post all these links there for you to have access, to join. We need more. You've seen that it's a movement. It's a movement that needs more hands. The Democrats are having it today. That's because they didn't rest on their laurels. If they have rested that, okay, if we can turn up 60 million votes, then we should have had it. Look at what's happening. The Republican was able to turn up 70 million votes, and the Democrat had to do more. So if really we want youth to be in power, not only youth, the right persons to be in position of power, it then means that more of us have to turn up. We have to turn up. We have to encourage others to turn up. We have to bring our friends, and our friends bring their friends. So that's how we're going to be signing out this evening on our platform, the new Nigerian Youth Movement. Thank you, everybody, for joining in. Anthony, thank you very much. I'm saying bye-bye. Abdulaziz, Temitope, thank you very much. Jude Richard, I'm going to be thanking especially
You're
those that
welcome.
joined in newly today. Jude Richard, thank you for coming. Abba Malam, thank you. Adeboye Oluwasegun, thank you. Muhammad Abari, as usual, thank you for coming. Of course, I won't skip
Thank you.
Ozioma. Thank you for coming to the
As we
platform.
will fight.
Musa Lawal, I cite you. Therese, the first timer, thank you for joining the platform. Invite your friends. Invite others.
I want to appreciate my
Invite
friend
others.
Uche.
Yeah.
She's here
Okay,
also. Thank
Uche.
you.
Yes,
she's
Uche,
here.
thanks for coming. Yes, okay, I can see that. Uche Osuchuku, I didn't get that completely. Okay. Abamalam, nice one. Yes, thank you.
All right, thank
Good
you
night,
very much.
everybody. It was a
Nice
nice
meeting
conversation
everyone.
with you guys.
you.
We'll continue next week, Monday, by the
Nice
grace of
meeting you
God.
guys.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
Ciao, tutti.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Miss Nigerian.
Don't press it. Now, any organization.
Everybody will.
No? Just that information. It's all about helping community for the people living in a rural area. Shine ya muke conference ne baka ji na ci sauran wasu yanzu ni biyu ba abin da zaka ce ya ke su wallahi tallahi ya gwani